I'm really happy. I think he has a great potential in everything he does. He can play different type of footballs. He's going to feel that Premier League is really aggressive. He's going to learn, but he has a great potential, and I can see Ben be a striker for Manchester United for a longer few years. That's why we pay so much money to have a striker that will have his history in our club.
When Benjamin Sesko failed to score in his first 6 games for Manchester United, the verdict from many was already written. The headlines painted him as another expensive risk. Fans on social media began comparing him to other strikers around Europe who were already delivering. Every missed chance felt heavier than the last. Every substitution looked like a verdict, and in the background, the comparisons grew louder. Rasmus Højlund made headlines in Italy with a goal on his Napoli debut. Viktor Gyökeres had already found the net 3 times for Arsenal. Names like Julian Alvarez and Alexander Isak filled debates and newspaper columns as examples of who United should have signed instead. For a club still desperate for a reliable number 9, the pressure on Benjamin Sesko was immediate. 6 appearances, no goals, and the story was already being written. Another misstep in the transfer market. Another striker unable to handle the weight of Old Trafford. But here is what the critics missed. Throughout his career, Benjamin Sesko's quiet beginnings have never been the end of the story. They have always been the calm before the storm. The early weeks of Benjamin Sesko's Manchester United career were a test of patience. For a striker, silence is dangerous. 6 games without a goal is enough to spark headlines at any club. But at Old Trafford, it feels like a crisis. The weight of the badge magnifies everything. His first full 90 minutes came in the EFL Cup against Grimsby. On paper, it looked like a routine outing. For Šeško, it was his first real chance to show United what he could do. He pressed, he battled, he chased every loose ball. He left without a goal, but with a reminder that he was willing to graft. Then came Chelsea. United faced one of the league's most disciplined defences, and Šeško made them uncomfortable. He pressed relentlessly, forcing errors at the back. His flick-on released Brian Mbeumo, leading to the challenge that saw Chelsea reduced to 10 men. It was the kind of involvement that never shows up in the scoring charts, but changes the flow of a game. Yet when United went down a man, he was the one sacrificed. His work went unnoticed by most, and the doubts continued to grow. 5 appearances, still no goals. 6 appearances, still waiting. The pressure mounted with every passing match. Questions turned into criticism. For some, patience had already run out. And then came Brentford. Matchday 6, his second full 90 minutes in a United shirt. The wait was over. Šeško scored his first goal for Manchester United, finally breaking his silence. It was not just relief, it was a signal. Because history suggests that when Benjamin Sesko breaks through, the story rarely ends with 1 goal. Benjamin Šeško's slow start at Manchester United is not unique. In fact, history shows that some of the greatest strikers to play in England began their journeys in exactly the same way. Take Teddy Sheringham. Signed in 1997 to fill the void left by Eric Cantona, he walked straight into the pressure of replacing a legend. His debut was marked by a missed penalty, and his first season was considered underwhelming. Critics wrote him off quickly, suggesting he was not United quality, yet Sheringham adapted, refined his game, and became a crucial figure. By 1999, he was scoring in both the FA Cup final and the Champions League final, cementing his role in the treble. The striker who was once doubted became the man who delivered United's greatest moments. Andy Cole faced the same storm. Bought for a record fee in 1995, his first full season brought only 11 league goals. He looked short of confidence, and the media questioned whether he was cut out for United. But Cole kept working, and his partnership with Dwight Yorke became one of the deadliest in Premier League history. By the time he left United, he had scored 121 goals in 275 appearances, and lifted every major trophy available. And this is not only a United story. Thierry Henry joined Arsenal in 1999 and failed to score in his first 8 league games. People called him a failed winger. Within 2 years, he was the most feared forward in England, winning golden boots and carrying Arsenal to titles. Didier Drogba's first season at Chelsea was modest, just 10 league goals. Pundits questioned his price tag, but he grew into the ultimate big game striker, scoring decisive goals in cup finals and leading Chelsea to glory. Even Harry Kane was dismissed early in his career. He went 9 Premier League appearances without scoring, and several loans left him labelled as average. Then came 2014 to 15. He scored 21 league goals, and by the time he left Tottenham, he was the club's all-time leading scorer. The lesson is clear. A slow start does not mean failure. More often, it hides the beginning of something extraordinary. What sets Benjamin Sesko apart from other strikers who started slowly is the way he responds once the first goal arrives. History shows that when he breaks his silence, the goals do not just come in singles, they arrive in waves. At FC Liefering in Austria, he finished the 2020-21 season with one of the most remarkable runs in Europe. In the final 7 games of the league, he scored 13 goals. At just 17 years old, he turned from a promising youngster into a striker who looked unstoppable. The goals came from everywhere: long-range strikes, close-range finishes, and towering headers. It was the first clear glimpse of what makes him different. When he stepped up to RB Leipzig, the pattern continued. In the 2023-24 Bundesliga season, Šeško set a record by becoming the youngest player ever to score in 7 consecutive league matches. He finished that year with 18 goals in all competitions, and many of them came in bursts. He would go quiet for a few weeks, then suddenly explode. A year later, in 2024-25, he became Leipzig's top scorer with 21 goals across all competitions. Once again, the streaks defined his season. He scored 5 goals in 4 games, then 7 in 8, surges that turned respectable numbers into a statement. There were still quieter spells, but whenever he found the net once, it was almost guaranteed that more would follow. This is the frightening reality about Benjamin Sesko. His career is not built on steady, predictable scoring. It is built on avalanches. The kind of runs that overwhelm defenders and flip a season in a matter of weeks. Which is why his first goal for Manchester United, away at Brentford on Matchday 6, should not be seen as a simple debut strike. If history repeats itself, it could be the spark that triggers the same pattern once again. One moment of relief for United fans may soon become a nightmare for Premier League defenders. Benjamin Sesko is not a typical striker. At 6'5", he carries the frame of a target man, yet his movement belongs to a winger. He can sprint the channels, press defenders into mistakes, and then dominate them in the air. Very few forwards combine that mixture of size, pace, and technical ability, and fewer still are only 22 years old. Defenders already know how difficult he is to handle. Even before his first goal for United, centre-backs were doubling up on him, drawn to his runs, leaving space for Matthias Cunha, Brian Mbeumo, and Bruno Fernandes to exploit. His pressing is relentless, the first line of defence in Ruben Amorim's system. It was that pressing which unsettled Chelsea and helped force the sending off at Old Trafford. And it is that same intensity which makes him vital to United's tactical rebuild. In Ruben Amorim's 3-4-3 system, the striker has to do more than score. He has to press from the front, link play, and create space for the wide forwards. Šeško fits that mould. He has the physical strength to hold up the ball, the intelligence to drop into pockets of space, and the acceleration to punish high defensive lines. Once the goals begin to flow, his all-round game will only become more dangerous. This is why his first goal matters so much, not because it changes his statistics, but because it removes the one question mark left hanging over him. The confidence has returned, and with confidence, his career has shown the floodgates usually open. For defenders across the league, that is the real fear. They are not preparing to face a striker who scores occasionally. They are preparing to face a striker who scores in avalanches. Benjamin Sesko has already shown flashes of what is coming. In training, reports say he is lighting it up, scoring freely, pressing relentlessly, and impressing Ruben Amorim with his attitude. The Premier League always takes time to adjust to, but history tells us that once he adapts, he will not stop. United did not just buy a striker for today, they bought one who could lead the line for the next decade, and that is the truly frightening part. There is more than one reason why the Premier League should fear Benjamin Sesko. His size, his pace, his pressing, his history of scoring streaks, and now the confidence of that first goal. One strike at Brentford may look small on paper, but it could be the spark that sets off something much larger. The question is simple. Do you believe Benjamin Sesko is about to go on a run, or do you still have doubts?